Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Can you all see me? Hopefully, it didn't go live originally. I had to hit a refresh. So just let me know that you can hear and see me, and then we'll get started with everything today. I'm going to put Apollo down while I'm waiting for everything from just a quick confirmation. All right, looks like you guys can see me. Yes, great. So I wanted to, first of all, just say, happy Valentine's Day for all of you that are actually watching today live. So great to see everybody. I actually think that Valentine's Day should be every day. We should be expressing our love and appreciation. So for those of you that are watching this on replay and it happens to be afterwards, then don't worry about it. Every day is an expression of that appreciation. So the messages that we'll be talking about today, it really kind of canvasses about 4 to 6 weeks. So it doesn't matter when you watch it, it'll be the right time, and it's great to see you. Also today, as with all signs that I've been doing this month, we'll be looking at self-love, healing, and forgiveness. And by the way, this is for Libra, March 2020. And if you are wanting to sort of know if you could look at this for your rising sun and moon, the answer is absolutely yes. And you can also watch on behalf of anybody else in your life that you happen to know their sign for. So I know a lot of people are also joining lately just to kind of watch the meditation portions as well. That's absolutely okay, because I've designed those, although they're sign specific, there's a lot of healing that you can get no matter what sign you are. So as I was saying earlier today in chat, there was a lot of information that came through. I woke up at a couple points this morning, once at 3 a.m., once at 5 a.m. I'm getting the 2 downloads for the 2 different signs that I'll be reading for today. And I really like the messages for Libra. We'll be talking about it in a couple moments here. I'm going to be using some crystals today with you, an obelisk, actually two different colors here, subtly different, to help you work through issues of the heart and also help you get into really reconnecting with pieces of your sort of past dreams that you might have let go. And as I said, like, love with a capital L also means like putting passion into your life, doing things that matter. And sometimes we lose that because we're trying to make other people happy because they may tell us that we're not able or capable of doing that. So I'm going to try to reconnect you with that energy today. If you are a first-time viewer, I'd like to actually just say welcome. Let me tell you a little bit about how I organize the reading each and every month. I like to start with channeled information. This is when I connect to my guides and share that information that I got earlier today with you, all the psychic downloads. After that, I will pull a traditional Celtic Cross, and we'll see everything from the wonderful opportunities to some of the more challenging aspects of the month. And the aim here is to help you exercise free will and really take advantage of the time ahead of March, if you're watching this early, to really create some changes in your life. And again, prepare for some of the good news as well. I'll then expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And something that I've been doing that's brand new since basically January is I'm adding a special portion at the end that includes meditation and also a little bit of soul work, SOUL, where we're focusing on not only how to kind of approach some of the challenges that I see in the Celtic Cross, but also help you open up to that self-healing, love, and forgiveness that we'll all be focusing on collectively this month. And how appropriate that you're tuning in today on Valentine's Day, for those of you that are watching live, because that'll really help with any sort of issues that you're having also, even in relationships, because when you can forgive yourself, when you can love yourself, when you really start to open up to that higher love, then everybody benefits, including those, especially I should say, those around you. I would like to take a moment to thank both Ryan and Maria for helping me today answer any questions and also create a nice safe space for everybody. It's great to see so many familiar faces here today. Welcome. I'm also humbled by the fact that each and every time I go live, there's people from across the world that take time out of their schedule to allow me to kind of step in and give some insight. So I really do appreciate you, and thank you for being present. One thing that's unique about the way that I handle live chats is I know a lot of intuitives will do a question and answer. That's not really part of the way that I do this. I'm here to basically give you all the information I can, coming from my guides, coming from the cards and my own intuition. And I need to focus to do that. But I do love super chat. So if you want to say thank you, send me a sticker. You can put a unicorn up there or something else and say that you love what you're seeing. There's a little button here that will allow you to do that right by the smiley emoji. And basically, once the video has gone live and posted to YouTube, I'll call you out in a comment section and say thanks. Right now, I'd like to say thanks as well, because it helps me continue to get good supplies and show up each and every month. So otherwise, hold comments until the end, because you're welcome to comment on what I'm saying, but I won't be able to look at it while I'm talking, okay? Stick around until the end as well, because we'll talk a little bit about how you can get involved, whether that's booking an appointment or trying to connect on the different social media sites and everything. But I know that you came here right now for the messages, and I've got so much to share that I've got to get started on that. So let's do it. I'm actually going to grab my phone because I talk about keeping a dream journal. For me, I actually tap it into my phone. I highly recommend people doing that. If you wake up at like 3 in the morning and you could do a voice memo, or you could actually tap it in. So I do a digital sort of memo, and that basically helps me because you can half asleep, you can tap it in and then finish it out when you're awake. So I separated yours into like 2 or 3 parts, but I want to talk about the dream, and this is why I'm looking at my notes here. What my guides showed me when I was focusing on Libra this morning, meditating, then falling asleep, and then getting this beautiful sort of vision, was they were using the metaphor of a house to represent your sort of life or your spiritual house. And the main message that they were conveying was that it was time to look at some of the doors you had closed, some of the pieces of the house or this sort of like mansion that represented your spiritual self that were closed off and were kind of in disrepair. And when I opened one of them, I got this rush of joy coming into my heart. And it was attached to childhood, probably age 11. I felt like it was 8 to 11. And I was just connecting with all sorts of things that it wasn't really me, because it had nothing to do with my life. And it didn't really kind of strike me as a flashback. I think it has to do with your sign. Things that bring you joy, things that you have maybe lost or put away, kind of put in a chest, locked the key, and forgot. And what the guides were showing me is that that part of your life can come back. There are pieces of this that you could actually rekindle. There were other parts of the house that were kind of falling away. And what I saw there was a chance to rebuild or start something new there. So if I were to summarize it, I have more cards in front of me, but the main points were this month allows you to rekindle the flame of youth, to rebuild anything that you felt that you lost, also to maybe build something new based on the kind of ashes, come up like a phoenix from those ashes and be inspired by your past self. And then reclaim anything that someone said you couldn't have, couldn't do. This would be more in the area of a dream or an aspiration that you had. And what I said here again is some parts can be rebuilt, others will be reclaimed. When you did this, or when I was looking at the sort of vision here, I got this feeling that it was almost like Peter Pan. I felt like I was lighter and having fun, and there was laughter. So I put joy, this sort of youthful approach that we would maybe see like with the Fool or the Six of Cups, and levity. Finding a way to include sort of like playful energy in your life. That's going to be really beneficial. And if I had to put something like on Twitter to kind of summarize it, it would be that this is a month to kind of look at the lost and found elements of your life. Doors that were once shut can now be open. And again, it's a chance for reclamation. It's never too late, okay? So these were the myriad messages that you received today. They were all beautiful. And what I'd like to do during the reading, and also especially during the meditation, is to help you connect with these pieces of your heart that you've perhaps kind of lost or locked away or just forgotten about. And we'll get back into those lost and found elements. One of the ways that I'm going to help focus and protect today is by using an obelisk to kind of contain the energy. We used a Merkava yesterday. Today we'll be using a different crystal. And I may use the chimes that I did yesterday as well to help us with the meditation. So all of that being said, let's get into the cards and take a look again at the opportunities, the challenges, and all of the other information that's going to help us see the shape of March 2020. At this point, I like to remain quiet and just turn the camera down so I can observe the cards as well, but stick around because I'll explain everything right after everything is laid out on the table. So thank you so much. It'll be interesting to see if this card pops up. I am looking for perhaps like the something that would show transformation. So possibly death reversed or even a tower in here, but we'll see what happens. We did get the world here, so that also works. And I see we actually got it here in the Destiny card. We have Death reversed. Okay, so let's talk about what we're seeing here. This is really a month of choices for your sign. There are a lot of different ways that you can go. There's also some things that it looks like you will be deciding to release, walk away from. And I did get that gentle energy of like Death released or reversed rather, or even the Tower reversed. That's kind of what came through in my own sort of psychic intuition. And that's an okay energy for any sign. Sometimes these cards get a bad rap, but they're all about transformation. I'd love to see more cards with death having like a butterfly on it, or a phoenix, or basically sort of showing something begin anew. And I think that that's kind of how you want to look at the energy of this month. It was funny, before we started, I was showing like a little bird coming out of an egg. And I feel like that's kind of what it would be for you this month, as a chance to sort of reemerge for you. So looking at your catalyst card, which is a connective thread that helps draw some sort of a comparison between all of these cards, and a connection as well, also helps you align to highest possible light. We have discipline being the main piece of advice here. It says, I can accomplish what I set my mind to. This deck is also aligned to chakra colors. And so we're seeing here one of the highest possible chakras, looking at like the crown and the third eye, really connecting with spiritual energy. Purple being a color of protection, but also connecting to the highest energy as well. So your spiritual practice this month is going to be essential in your success. And this can just mean the power of your thoughts, which is something that's been a recurring theme in all signs this month. Focusing on really treating thoughts as a program that's running your operating system. So when those thoughts are about what you can do, what you believe is possible, and also reinforcing the positive aspects of your personality, then it becomes sort of like a magnetic or a very, very positive energy that attracts similar sort of things. When the thoughts go to the negative or focus solely on the critical, then it almost becomes a reinforcement of those fears. And that's kind of how the shadow energy wins sometimes. So what you can do to break that cycle is to be disciplined in your thoughts and really start to focus on, what can I do? How can I do it? And now I'm going to commit to doing this on a daily basis. Each and every day, maybe it's one thing on your checklist, just getting a little bit closer to the goal. It doesn't mean that you have to get it done. You're just going to send an email, make a call, spend some time researching or thinking or talking to someone about it. Also just believing and sort of doing that internal work. This is going to bring you closer to the goal. Your challenge this month is to not sort of be too hard on yourself. The center card is the 10 of Swords. This can come when there's a feeling that it's sink or swim, win or lose, that you have to be perfect. And if you make a mistake, all of a sudden it's the end of the world. It's not really when we look at the rest of this spread. And this particular deck, it's called the Sun and Moon. You can check out my website if you ever want to look at any of these cards. This particular deck shows that the 10 of Swords is a cognitive state sometimes. It's not always a physical state. Swords, after all, are very kind of mental and verbal. They're not necessarily tangible all the time. So what we're looking at with this is, first and foremost, of course, watch your words. If there's any sort of argument that's around the corner that you can avoid, sometimes we're unfortunately in the presence of people that just like to basically see if they can get under our skin or get us upset. This card is saying avoid that. That's a no-win situation. But I actually got the feeling when I looked at this is that some of you were just too hard on yourself. You deserve a break. You need to give yourself a break and look at the positive, because what's really happening right now, and this is the important thing as we look at the Two of Pentacles, is choices and change. This particular deck is a cross between Rider-Waite-Smith and the Thoth deck, which means that the cards carry with them slightly different meanings, and even some of these are captioned. I usually don't look at them, but this deck, it's kind of interesting. So this is saying that you have a chance to redirect the energy. You can put everything into balance. So you start the month perhaps feeling like it's not absolutely balanced. Physically and mentally, you want to take care of yourself and be disciplined about making a change there. Once you do that, you actually open up positive energy to come into your life. And then we see, that many of you have already set up the cycle for success here. And with the World or the Universe card in this particular deck, what we're seeing now is much like what I was reading for Virgo, you're resetting. I think a couple of signs, these are all very close in the zodiac. So you're on a little bit of a new cycle here. You're not quite there. And what we're going to look at this month are the blocks that are keeping you from getting to this, because you've set yourself up for a major change in job or a major change in your life, maybe even a move. All of these things are exciting. Even a breakout moment for those of you that might be sort of, like trying to break into entertainment or get your first job, or if you're retired and you're trying to figure out like, what am I going to do next? This breakout moment is figuring out what's the new me and what's the skin that I'm going to shed. And I feel like much like when we see a snake or a butterfly, they have a few moments before they shed their skin where it's still a struggle. That's where you're at. You're going to be able to break through. You just have to kind of do this last little bit of a step before it happens. So be patient with yourself and really allow for some days to be a little bit heavier than others and other days to be a little bit lighter. Remember what the guides were showing me in the vision, which was to reclaim that part of yourself that had the capability, like all children do, to kind of go with the flow. One thing that I love with both children and pets is that they don't seem to hold grudges. They kind of, if they're scared, they're scared in the moment. If they laugh, they laugh. If they're truthful, they tell you something you need to hear, but they move on to the next thing. They're not sitting there and focusing on it. So use something like playtime, humor, kind of getting outside. You need to shake up the energy a little bit and redirect your focus. And we see two cards here again that are very much the same message. Chariot, about being in control, taking the reins and deciding, I'm going to do this. And then discipline, keeping that as a part of your daily practice. What we see here is taking things from a place of being a goal to being everyday habit and practice. And then I think one of the important things for your sign this month is also not only to make a decision, but also perhaps to let go of, again, being so hard on yourself, because we have the Judgment card in reverse. There's not always a lot of control with judgment. Justice, yes, there's a weighing of a decision. Judgment is often hearing something and having to deal with it, or knowing that you need to do something, but for some reason not having the internal acceptance yet. So for those of you that might be in a job and you're ready to break free, this is the understanding that on the other side is a new life, something brand new, but it does involve that death and rebirth. It's a little scary to move through that, right? We all kind of fear the unknown. But what we see here is that you're being guided, you're being protected. And I actually love that we see, instead of them coming out of coffins here, we see them being christened and kind of into something new. This is a very nice rebirth message here. So for change to happen, something has to move out. And this is a month of give and take. And as we said earlier, lost and found. When you make that reclamation, when you decide to move towards something, you will probably close an old door too. Our life is constantly openings and closings, openings and closings. So don't ever view one as the sort of ultimate definition of who you are. There's always one more door to open. That's what makes life so exciting. Whether you're 8 or 88, you're still experiencing changes and transformation. And this month especially, as we look at the ego, which is going to open up how kind of receptive you are to this, we have a great card. We have the 6 of Wands. It shows me a successful traveling through any change that's coming through in your life. And the interesting thing with this Six of Wands, I was reading with the Morgan Greer deck yesterday, and it was also focused only on the person. This one is also focusing on the individual growth. This person isn't really needing or wanting the sort of support of others. They're changing and trusting and hoping that this message, this new version of themselves, is going to resonate with the world, but they're not doing it for the express purpose of acceptance. When you are at ease with yourself, when you are proud of who you are or who you're becoming or what you're doing, it's that joy, that internal confidence, and that excitement to share that with the world that actually brings across the success that is inherent to the Six of Wands. And at the top of the card, it's hard to read, but it says victory. So just trust in yourself that you're going to be able to go through this and make it happen. But notice that this has a very nice balance between light and dark. So you may be the first one to see the transformation, to see the journey, to see that it's going to be okay. And that's sort of the tricky thing with manifestation, with dreams, with setting goals, is it seems impossible when you're thinking of it, but then once it happens, it's already there. I remember when I was a kid, we didn't really have like mobile telephones and laptops and all of that. The computers, I'm not that old, by the way. I was born in the 70s. But basically in the 80s and 90s, the technology hadn't caught up to science fiction. And so what we see now is every day. You saw me holding my phone. That was something that you only saw in Star Trek, right? But we dreamed before we did it. And so if you can just go with what you feel is right, then amazing things can happen. You have to trust in that vision and maybe even project it out there. And you might get sort of laughed at initially, but then 5-10 years down the line, it's going to be the status quo. So I want you to trust in that, make the change internally. Don't look for the support necessarily this month because it's not sort of important and it may not even be there. You're making the right changes, you're making the right decisions. You just have to be at ease with them. So whether that's moving away from someone, moving towards something, or trying something different, that sort of coming out of your shell, it's the right time, it's the right way, but you have to do it your way. And that's kind of what's coming through here. A lot of 5 cards have been popping up, not as many in your sign as the previous, but what we see here with the 5 of Wands in the environment is to try not to let the work either distract you, define you, or make you feel like I'm stuck, I'm not making progress. That's the frustrating thing whenever I see 5 of Wands. It feels like, where is that finish line? How long do I have to keep running? It's kind of like one of those illusions where the more you walk, it just feels like it's an endless hallway. But the good news is attached to this in the possibility space, we have Queen of Pentacles. This is your breakout. And interestingly enough, normally you would see the Queen of Wands in a desert, but we have the imagery here of Queen of Pentacles. And what I like about anytime I see one of the Queen cards in a desert is you have all the requisite things to make something successful happen, even if you can't figure out how it's going to work. Basically, you have to trust in your value and then things happen. Look, she's got an oasis here around the corner. If she doesn't go over this sand dune, she's not going to see that. And so that's kind of where you're at. But the finish line is right there. There's a break that's about to happen, a breakthrough, as we saw with the World card. You've set it up, but you have to go a little bit further. And yeah, the work isn't always fun. And yes, it's hard to kind of be holding this torch of who you can be. But once you get there, it's going to be awesome. And who knows what's in that oasis. So focus on that. Again, it's all about perspective this month. Changes are good. Walking away from things, you're going to have a little bit of a period for some of you where there may be, fewer people in your life. If you've started up a business, there could be a lull in activity. If you're waiting for something to manifest, it may feel like it's not happening. And one of the worst things you can do is start to give into the fear, the doubt, the frustration. And if anyone's planted those seeds in your mind, judgment reverse can also be to bounce back that sort of negativity. You know the truth, you know what's possible. And so if someone else is putting really negative energy towards you, as we can see with the 10 of Swords, you want to be cool, calm, collected. We see a lot of cards here with the water, right? Easy going. I'm not seeing like a tsunami here. The water is a nice cooling force in all of these and also showing that you're going to emerge and be fine. Clean yourself, clear yourself of that energy that they're trying to put on you. And that's something that I'm going to take a note of that. We'll put this in the meditation. I want to put a little bit of we'll use water to clear any of that energy that others are trying to kind of project onto you. A good spiritual practice, by the way, since we're looking at discipline and things that you can do, using Epsom salt. And you can get that at your local drugstore or drugstore. Like in the States, it would be like CVS or Walgreens, et cetera. Internationally, I don't know, but Amazon also sells it. $3 or $4. It can be cheap. You don't have to get anything that's scented. Putting a little bit of that in a bath is very effective. If you don't take baths, I believe they have salt scrubs as well. But basically, salt is a great way to get rid of that energy. It helps clear. It helps kind of pull out all of the lower frequencies that are in your energy and also have been absorbed in your body. And when you think about it, it makes sense because sodium is what? It's a crystal. And I would bless the crystals before you put them into the water. That's one thing that I would do. Put in basically some sort of a prayer or blessing on it, and then allow that to be in the water. And then just spend a little bit of time soaking in that and imagine that the crystals are pulling out all of this negativity. And then when it goes down the drain, just say thank you. If you do take a bath rather than a shower, you might want to actually rinse off a little bit so that your skin doesn't get dry. That's one little inside tip, but something that is really effective at clearing energy. For those of you that are empathic or do psychic work, you should probably do that once a month at least. Okay. Looking now at your outcome, which is where everything is headed up, and we'll be looking at destiny in a moment. These two cards work hand in hand. We have an opportunity, Ace of Wands. It is reversed. Whenever I see an ace card reversed, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It just means that you need to keep an open mind, particularly with the Ace of Wands cards. It's saying that if you have too narrow a perspective of how something can happen, you could miss out on a wonderful opportunity. It also is showing you that you are the torch bearer this month. You're the one that is going to continue to keep things ignited, to continue to keep things going. And you may even be in a role of leadership this month, because the Six of Wands can come through for teachers, celebrities, inspirational speakers, or someone that's standing in a position of trying to get everyone behind them. So even like a CEO type. And so people around you are looking to you for that inspiration, that guidance, that light. Keep your light strong. Bring your light to a higher frequency. Never go lower, never dim it. And that's something that can be difficult at first when you're sort of awakening, but that would be my advice. You don't want to retract. You don't want to kind of pull your chakras in. You want to really go wider, brighter, lighter. And that levity that I was seeing in the sort of meditation earlier, where I saw kind of like we were flying like Peter Pan, it was coming from laughter. Laughter is a wonderful sort of transformative way to get energy into a higher space. There's only so many ways it can be done. You can cry, you can laugh, you can also kind of work out, sweat, that works as well. But you have to somehow elevate and move the energy this month, and that's going to help you to the next possibility that we saw there with the Oasis. Let's go ahead now and separate this out into the expanded forecast, looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny, knowing that each of these is multi-part. And as we look at all the different sections within them, we'll get additional insights into all the cards that I just looked at. I love what I'm seeing here in your health area. We see a chance for you to break free of chains. We have this card reversed, but it says heal. And I feel like for some of you, it's just a matter of knowing that the healing's already started, that letting go will actually help facilitate that. This almost reminds me of the Hanged Man when it's in reverse. And the interesting thing with the Hanged Man is that in the time that it takes to get something done, you gain insight, you gain strength, you gain knowledge. It's based on mythology, where I think, was it Odin, was hanging upside down. And he had a great sacrifice. I don't know if that's how he lost the eye, but I know that part of this was there was a trade-off. It was lost time, but he gained a lot of insight. So for you, whatever's going on in your life this month, if there's a little bit of a pause, as we saw with this Hopes, Fears, and Possibilities card, you're going to break free. There's going to be this moment of coming out stronger, brighter, and being able to unshackle yourself and feel like, I've got it this time. So don't rush anything. Allow for healing to happen in its own time, whether this is mourning a loss of someone in your life, whether this is taking that leap of faith and quitting, or, breaking free of some sort of a habit where perhaps you just know that you shouldn't do this anymore. When it's right, it will be right, and you're going to be able to break free without any sort of hesitation. So give yourself the time, and when you have no other excuse in your life as well, just break those chains. It's going to feel good. Looking at the other cards here for additional insight, the one thing that I'm seeing, there's a lot of water being a healing element. So I actually feel that if you're in any part of the world where you can get closer to either a lake or a gentle stream or the ocean, that's going to help, because we see a lot of perspective coming through in the cards here that have water. So getting outside, changing things up, making also sure that you are drinking enough, because that is also allowing for the energy to move through your body. And as I said earlier, an Epsom salt bath will also be really effective at helping pull out any negative energy in your life. As we look at wealth, this is a great card for what we're going to be doing this month. It's all about the heart chakra. And it says the answer you seek is in your heart right now. Be open to giving and receiving love. I actually feel like this has to do with reconnecting with something that you want to do or that you weren't sure that you could do. Again, this is opening that door from the past. Also, since we're looking at the past or closed doors, there may be someone in your life that you just haven't talked to in a long time, because in that vision or dream state that I was in, I also saw a reunion with somebody, and it felt really good. And so for some of you, there may be a chance to basically pick up the sort of any of the slack in the relationship. If someone hasn't talked to you and you want to talk to them, just check in and see how it feels, because I feel like they'll be happy to receive the energy and receive the call. And that could be part of the lost and found message that we talked about. With respect to other things with money, the fact that we have the universe here or the world card is good. This is usually about a big change, new job, new relationship, additional money. It's almost like the Wheel of Fortune. But notice here that we have what looks like Kali here. You need to overcome a fear or an uncertainty to get to that next level. So there's a little bit of work to do, but once that happens, that's when we see the oasis here, okay? So mostly pretty good, actually. We don't have any lower cards with respect to Pentacles. We have a card here that's really good, actually. The lack of, we have the Two of Pentacles at the center, which is just saying how you invest your time is the most important. And I think if you let something go, with Judgment reversed, with the fact that I'm looking at Death here and the Destiny card, that's going to help. There's something that needs to release. There's something that needs to come in. The two doors, one opening, one closing. And so for some of you, that's a transition in career, or stepping into your own power, starting your own company, or taking a position of management at a company where you weren't managing before. However you kind of slice it up, it looks like there's some sort of redefinition of your role or of your long-term goals. And if it is long-term goals, then that's when the patience part comes in. And again, we're looking at a one-year cycle. So I feel like whatever you're trying to achieve, it's definitely possible within the next year. As we look at love, which is not just your relationships, but also this month, love with a capital L, which is self-love, healing, forgiveness, and also passion in projects and other things. Well, it's about creation. So some of you may choose not to spend the energy in relationships. You may decide to put that passion into going back to school, starting a new company, going back and doing something you've always wanted. You may also develop something about yourself that you really wanted to. It could just be for the joy of learning. This can also indicate deciding to start a family. And if there is a relationship that's starting, what's important is that there is this feeling that both of you are in that role of support. It would be like the Magician and the High Priestess, or the Emperor and the Empress. Equal parts. Equal parts, like being in control, but also kind of championing one another. So not a teacher, a partner. That's something that I talked about in my manifestation video. But I like the energy here. She reminds me of the High Priestess, actually. So just know that whatever you want to create, you can create. If there's been a void of relationships, new things can come in. If you need to heal one, you can heal it. But what has to happen first is this feeling of it can't point fingers anymore. If it's in a place of disrepair, kind of like that house that I was seeing in the meditation, then it might be time to shut that door and open a new one. Choices, you have a lot of them this month. And that's what we see here with your final card. We have Death reverse, which is an end of stagnation. And I like the Death card. What we actually see with this is kind of all the other chakras opening up. So once you let go of something, and we have a kind of focus on the root chakra, there's a lot of red here. So once you start to feel safe and ready for that change to happen, we have a lot of heart energy with the green here and a lot of power energy here with the yellow coming through. So I feel like you're going to have a chance to push things into a positive trajectory. But we have two cards of death and rebirth here. So there has to be something falling away to allow for the creation that we see here in love. So overall, I'm really excited. These cards definitely resonate with what I was seeing in your meditation. And I'd love to get to the next portion. So before we do that, I'm going to do a quick review. If any of you joined late, this will help bring you up to speed. Just a reminder, you can always watch this on replay if that's the case as well. But let's get into the review, and then we're going to move into the next portion. So lost and found was what I kind of was ending up the initial channeled message with. I want to start it here because it's an easier way to look at this. If there's anything that you feel like you've lost in your life, it could be a dream, it could be an opportunity, it could be a piece of yourself because you gave a lot of time and energy to others. Think of this month as a lost and found. You're going to walk into that spiritual lost and found. You're going to reclaim that thing and put it into your heart space. Doors that were once closed can be opened. The reverse is true. If you're tired of something, you can close that door, especially if it's something that has chained you down. So a codependent relationship, some sort of habit in your life, it could be substance abuse, etc. Enough is enough, and you can close that door. It's never too late for a fresh start. It's never too late to come back to something. You just have to want that. This is really about spiritual housekeeping. I only put house here, but really it's housekeeping. So look at what you want to keep, look at what you don't want. Use the energies of joy, of kind of putting that youthful energy that we see in the Six of Cups, which is playful time. And that levity is then going to kind of bring you into a higher energy overall. And then this is going to allow you to rekindle, rebuild, and reclaim parts of yourself that you felt perhaps were lost. They're not lost. They were just maybe forgotten. Don't be so hard on yourself. And if there is someone in your life that is being unnecessarily negative, cruel, or unfair, this judgment card and this death card means that it's time to unshackle yourself and break free of that. This will bring balance in your life. And if there's anything here that's also causing too much stress, it could be a living or work or relationship situation. This is also saying, bring that in check. It's time for healing to take place. You've set yourself up for success. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And a lot of that when has to do with how strong you kindle your own fire, your own positivity, how aggressively you go towards that goal, and knowing also just the ability to kind of look over a potential boundary or a block that's in your life. There's something good on the horizon. Keep calm. Stay kind of in an orderly fashion. It's almost like those British signs where it's like, stay calm. That's really your mantra this month. The Chariot card is also encouraging you to take accountability, take ownership, and reclaim control if control was taken away for some reason. This makes sense also as we look at the Discipline card. This has to be a part of your day-to-day practice. So focus each and every day thinking that I can do this, I am doing this. Chariot and Discipline definitely correlated there. And the Judgment card is great. One thing that I want to kind of highlight here is that we also have this one being Eon. So Universe and Eon, these two are connected. In order to open up this opportunity, you have to move through the shadow, through the darkness, into the light, which we saw in the Six of Wands. This is respecting yourself, seeing your value, seeing your worth, often before others can do the same. Five of Wands, yep, there's a little bit of work to do, but the payoff is totally worth it. And that's what we see with the Queen of Pentacles here, with imagery that I would normally see in the Queen of Wands. And so then it's not surprising that I would see Ace of Wands on top of this, because it's a little bit of mind equals matter. It's not even just mind over matter. You're creating your reality. And we see the High Priestess almost here. It's a shamanistic card with creation, but you're creating what you want, what you can bring into your life. So own that shaman, own that High Priestess within. Break free of anything that feels like it's limiting thoughts, limiting activities. Realize that you can and will take control when you make that decision. Whatever time it took you to get to this decision point, it's okay, because once you let go, everything starts to fall into place. This is going to help you open up your heart, love yourself, love others, allow yourself to also experience all the opportunities that want to come through here. The only thing that I see that could potentially hold you back is wanting to control things too much. We need a little bit of kind of fun in here. And that's what we were seeing with the levity here. You have to have fun. There has to be that sense of humor. That's going to help you not kind of strangle out manifestation. Creation, creation, creation. That's actually the message with love. Whatever you want to create, you can. If you want to walk away, you can do it. If you want to bring someone in, you can do it. If you want to start a family, great. If you want to put that energy into something really productive, awesome. You are the creator. You're also the destroyer. And that's why we have Kali here, because that's what that god does, creates and destroys. So that's your month, actually, in a nutshell, would be this card. What do you want to get rid of? What kind of thing are you stomping out? What are you bringing into fruition? Once you have those two things in your mind's eye, it's easy, because then you start to realize how you want to spend your time and how you're going to balance it. So that's why I like to do a summary. It's a lot easier at the end to kind of see the connection after we've worked through it. So you'll find the balance. And notice that this Two of Pentacles isn't about stretching resources. It's actually about making a change that brings about balance. So I don't see, if you're feeling like you're pulled too thin, whether it's time, energy, or money, choices, movement, and change will balance that equation. Okay? Let's move on to what I think is a very powerful component of all of these, because it's something that I would kind of in LA pay for to go and do. We're going to meditate together, group meditation. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at 3 more cards. This is past, present, and future influences on healing and bringing in self-love. Also for you, looking at what you can reclaim or rebuild. Once we get this piece of the puzzle, then I'll bring us into the meditation, okay? Let's look at the past. See what's going through. 6 of Cups, which was something that I was hinting at. This is the reunion for many of you with someone from the past, an old friend, an old lover, a past soulmate that is coming in this life again. And you get to rebuild and redefine what it was. If it didn't work before, it might work this time. The most important piece of this is to have fun. I like 6 of Cups energy. So see this person as you once saw them. And if this is you, maybe there's no one in your life that kind of fits this mold. The 6 of Cups goes back to what I was seeing. For many of you, I got the age like 8 to 11, but there's no reason it couldn't be a little bit younger. It is when you were kind of in the middle grades. It wasn't like young, it wasn't very old. It was somewhere in the middle. So at that point, when we're very easily convinced, molded, or influenced, sometimes that's when we step away from our true self. That's why the moon is so prominent here. There can be illusions that step in because we want to please other people. So go into the heart of yourself, into the heart of that inner child, and think back to what it was that you really wanted to be or do or envision in your future, and hold that, because we'll meditate on that in a moment. But that's the key thing. That's actually going to be your key that will help you get back into the door. All right, let's look at present opportunities or blocks that could be helping you with healing, or again, helping you reclaim. So we have the 4 of Wands, which is a relationship card. And actually, for many of you, this has to do with relationships and redefining these relationships. 4 of Wands is foundational also. You can basically use that energy in multiple ways, but when it comes to friendships, it's usually about 2 people that have each other's back, and it's unconditional love and friendship. And it's usually friendship over kind of carnal energy. So it's not what we would see in the Lover's card or the 2 of Cups. It's really like that heart energy, that big hug that you have, that rush that you feel when you see someone that you just really love. For kids, it might be their mother. For pets, it could be their owner. For best friends, it's like seeing each other after a long time. So this card is about reunion. But look at what's going on this particular 4 of Wands. People have grown apart, I would say, and they're possibly working in different directions. And I think the important thing is for you to kind of get realigned and realize that it was never sort of competition. Sometimes when we're kids or as we grow up, we look at someone else, we compare our lives to them, or we judge them because of our upbringing or our own beliefs. This is saying, who are you to judge? Who are they to judge? You're both working through your life. You're both on the wheel, right? The universe. You're trying to make that change happen. And you're at different points. So release judgment. See that person as someone that you loved. I have a few Facebook friends, and even though I don't really like what they post, I remember who they were when we were kids. And I think to myself, it's still the same person. I don't, I don't agree with all this stuff that's going on around them, but I love their soul. So we're friends still. I just don't look at the feed. So you can kind of choose what you want to pay attention to, but I'm not going to cut this person out of my life because there's things going on. Also, maybe some of what I post can help them. So we're in each other's lives for a reason. And that's kind of what you want to do, is just suspend judgment. The only one that has any right to judge you is you, because I've seen in past life flashbacks the process of coming into this life. And it's usually something that we do with the guidance of ascended masters, angels, and God itself. Therefore, it's a divine sort of energy that brings us into this body, into this vehicle. And then at the end of our days, we go into a soul review where, again, we have guides, angels, and God, and ourself. And so God isn't judging us. We're judging ourselves, and we're looking at how well am I doing? We grade ourselves. So that's all that matters. Love yourself, grade yourself. Don't worry about other people. Let them deal with their stuff unless they're asking for assistance, okay? For some of you, this is a month where separation is necessary. So we have both judgment and justice. And let me talk a little bit about the difference again. Justice is about weighing the options. That's why you see the scales. Judgment is about receiving the judgment, the decision. So for some of you, you may feel like something that was done, said, or has happened isn't right. What you get to do this month is balance things out. This is also you, Libra. This is you. It's a good thing. And look what we have here. I said I wanted a butterfly. That's the butterfly. And that's really what this is. When you let go of something, when you make something right, which you felt was wrong, then you're going to find that balance. So this could simply be saying, no, I don't want to do this. Or, hey, I've always seen myself doing this. So you're going to step into your power. It's basically making things right from your perspective. It's not necessarily even having to say or do anything. It's knowing what that truth is, stepping towards it, and getting your balance. Your number one thing this month, your sign needs it too, is balance. We have it at the center. We have it here in the ultimate card that I'm pulling here when we're looking at what's right for you. If you have to step away from someone, it's the right thing. If someone hasn't done something right, then you can try to talk to them, but if they can't hear it, what you have to do is do what's best for you. So balance your life at any cost and know that that's going to bring you to that oasis. There's new people, new opportunities, new things on the horizon. Ultimately, though, I like that we're stepping into your power card here, okay? So try to work through some sort of a healing with what was lost as a child, maybe competition between you and friends. And then if there's a change that you need to make, know that that change brings you through the meditation. I hope that everybody can stay for this. But I know many of you are at work or might be listening to this while you're commuting. So if that's the case, I'd prefer you to listen to it later. And you can always repeat this if you need to a couple of times. But for all of you that are about to stay, thank you. If you're going to leave, please consider doing a like and subscribe if you can. And anybody else before we get into the meditation, because I'm going to bring you way out of your body. And I know that it's hard to get focused afterwards. All right, I'm going to pull a few aids here today. I did this yesterday for Virgo, and I want to do it today as well. I'll be using this, and this is on my website, by the way. This is just some chimes that I'll be using to kind of help us tune in. I'll also post a link. I think I have this pasted in my clipboard, so there's the link to it. This is really great at helping you kind of tune into things and get any sort of negative energy out. But before we get into the meditation, I want you to kind of take a look at this obelisk. This is something that you've probably seen if you've gone to the capital here in the United States, or if you've been to Egypt. Actually, a lot of countries across the world took some of the Egyptian obelisks, and you'll see this at various countries. What's nice about this is it's great for focusing. And because I was looking at the spiritual house, for many of you, as we're meditating, you can build your own new house while we're doing this. This will connect you to the highest point. You're going to allow the light to come in. And this is actually true citrine. A lot of times we see color-treated citrine, which is just quartz that's been heated up. It's hard to see the color on this one, but it's yellow. This actually has a mix of a little bit of green and a little bit of yellow. So it's going to connect the heart to your solar plexus. And if you want to kind of go with the color green, I have some, I think this is fluorite. And this is a more perfect kind of shape here to the obelisk. So envision this during the meditation. I might pull one of them up as we're doing it, but that's what I want you to see around your light body. It'll give you protection, and it will connect you to the sun as we do this, okay? So please close your eyes, and everybody focus on your physical body first before we go into the metaphysical. You have to kind of check your body. So imagine that you could take a scanner of light and go through the body and connect with any piece or any portion that feels like there's a heaviness, a block, or emotional energy that is somehow holding you back or bringing you down. Because we saw this card here that was all about healing and releasing. So if you feel that in your body, as you take this first breath with your eyes closed, I want you to just focus on how good it feels to open up your lungs, to push out the heart center. And as you do that, feel that energy kind of almost like it's a star shining brightly. You can see it pushing up, pushing down, and also pushing out, extending your light body as well. If there's any blocks, any uncertainty, any doubt, let it kind of get out of you, mind, body, and spirit with this breath. Together, let's take a nice deep inhale. Let it go. Good. Since we're going to be doing some traveling out of the body, I want you to connect your feet with the ground. Really feel a connection to the earth. And that heart center that we just opened up, I want you also to connect with Mother Earth, with Gaia. So imagine that you are a tree and you could send your roots deep into the planet. Feel that you are connected, protected, supported by Earth, by Gaia. And then send your energy beyond the roots and feel the warmth, the heat at the center of the planet, the true heart of the planet. It moves just like a heart, the molten core. It has the same energy as the sun above you. And I want you to know that if you give it love, if you give it light, if you send some appreciation towards Mother Earth, she needs it now more than ever, then you will receive a protection as well. You'll get an electromagnetic shield around you. So say something nice. At the very least, thank you for the trees, the water, the ground on which we walk. Thank you for being here every day of our lives and for sustaining all life on this planet. Nice deep breath as you send some love on this Valentine's Day to Mother Earth. And feel your two hearts are connected. Feel that she has your back. She has you supported. It's like an ace card in tarot. It's holding you up. It's supporting you. And then allow your heart, your energy to come back into your body, still connected to the heart of the planet, but now focusing on using your energy to create that obelisk shape that I talked about. So in your mind's eye, I want you to trace out something with 4 or 5 sides. See the obelisk shape in front of you. I'll count it on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. And I want you to see this shape around you, then kind of pointing towards the sun above you. So straight up, and then at the very top, you're going to see a pyramid structure form as the points then coalesce and connect you to the sun, creating a star within the star. And then you see the energy of the sun starting to come down the sides of the obelisk and filling you up with light, filling the space up with light. Also beneath you, you see a star forming as well as all of these points connect. So you are a star, you have a star above you, a star beneath you, you have the sun above you, and you have the molten core of the earth beneath you. This is going to be a major energy upgrade for all of you out there, Libra, that need it. This is your chance to step through any of the change that has been difficult for you, the universe, the world, the death card that we saw, and step into the energy of the creation card that was also in that spread. I'm going to use the chimes that I have. So if you're on headphones, you might want to turn it down a little bit, but allow for this to break through your mind, body, and spirit and clear anything out that's in there, any cobwebs, any doubt, any fear. I'm going to basically make 3 different tones here. And as we get to that highest tone, I want you to see yourself moving up. The obelisk, just like what we used yesterday, the Merkava can be a vehicle to move your body. So we've created this vehicle of light that's going to then elevate you and bring you out of your body. And then we're going to do some other soul work. So take a nice deep breath and Allow for things to fall away as you listen to this sound. Fear, doubt, and uncertainty. With the next breath, I want you to see the things that you want in your life, the doors that you want to open. See them opening now. And now I want you to see the obelisk starting to take flight. And I want you to now gain perspective over the planet, over your life. See things from a different point of view. Take a moment now to feel how it feels to be not tethered to the earth plane, to basically be free of opinions, of noise, distractions. I want you to feel that energy that I saw in the meditation, as if Peter Pan was with you, levitating you, bringing you higher and higher, bringing you towards the moon, towards the sun, beyond our solar system, into the galaxy of stars all around us. And from this perspective, you see that light is everywhere, that light and energy is so diverse in this massive universe that whatever troubles, whatever problems, whatever issues you might be working through, you can manage it. You've lived many lives before, you'll live many lives after this. And this is but one moment in that cycle of life, death, rebirth. Think of that person or that situation in the past where you might have changed yourself to bend to someone else's will, to try to make them proud, to try to make them happy. And even if you achieved that sense of acceptance, I want you to go back and think, was there anything else that I wanted to do instead? And don't beat yourself up. Don't feel bad. Don't judge it. Whatever you felt in the past that you needed to do, or that you could do, or that you were told that you couldn't do, I want you to look at your heart space and imagine that you could open it up and open a door to that possibility. And as you look within your heart, you can actually see that that has always existed within that space. You still have that version of you, that possibility, and that dream. So you can take that out of your heart and hold it in front of you for a moment. Being the embodiment yourself of the Two of Wands, holding the dream in front of you. As you take this breath, I want you to use all of the energy that we saw with the Ace of Wands and see that dream taking form, taking light, as if it were to become a torch that you're carrying. Take a nice deep breath and inhale. And as you breathe, see the fire light on that torch. You can hold that torch up high, almost as if you're Lady Liberty, if you need a visual. And see yourself bringing this into light. See yourself holding your own light, as we saw with the Six of Wands, defining who you are, what you can be, not waiting for other people to see you in that just yet, knowing that sometimes you have to dream it before you can do it. Who in your life has stood between you and your dreams, or has blocked you? If you see them, if you know them, I want you in this moment to just bless them and say, thank you for showing me that I really wanted to do this. If you had someone that you competed with, thank them for making you better, for driving you. If there's someone in your life that is simply blocking you, then dismiss them. Whoever this was, whoever this is, whatever this might manifest as, realize that people come through in this life not as foes, not as adversaries, but as teachers, as people to point you in the right direction. And once you understand the purpose, the lesson, then you can dismiss that part of the experience and they can be there to champion you on. Then they'll be there in the Six of Wands cheering and saying, yeah, you did earn this. You are this. I can see that now. Go within your heart once more and know that if there's anything that needs to be balanced, you can balance it. Just leave the torch up there. You're in space. It's going to float. So going within your heart, I want you to find something that is weighing it down. If there's anything there that you don't want anymore, that could be creating the imbalance that we saw within the Two of Pentacles or within Justice reversed, now is the time to say goodbye to it. So take that out of your heart, hold it in your hands, And instead of doing anything negative to it, simply bless it and say thank you. And see it transforming from whatever it was into something like a phoenix, something like a swan or a butterfly that's going to part ways with you, swim away, fly away. You're giving it its freedom. It's the best way to deal with shadow energy. Not to try to fight it, not to try to banish it, just to dismiss it. I don't need this. You're not welcome here. I've learned the lessons. You no longer can take occupancy in my heart. No vacancy. So take a nice deep breath. And as you breathe out, see it gently taking flight, moving away. Feel how much better it is to not have that clouding up your heart space. One final thing, I want you to take the door off of your heart. You no longer need to hold back who you are, what you love, what you want to be. Take the door, and the same thing that we did with whatever was blocking you before, transform it into something that you want. Imagine that you are a magician. You could make it into something more beautiful and put that into your energy. You could just make it disappear. The door is no longer needed, so do what you will with it. But on the exhale, know that it's going to disappear now forever. Look up at the top of the obelisk and allow that star-shaped energy now to connect with your heart. Look at the bottom of the obelisk and see yourself between these 2 points of light, your heart now, the center of that. You are the star now, the star in tarot, the star in yourself. You are a resplendent soul. The walls of the obelisk disappear. The walls of all of the energy around you disappear. You're just light. You're in your highest form now. If there's anything that you want to create or bring into existence, you can do it now. It's not a sacrifice, it's a choice. See whatever that is, put that goal into your mind, body, and spirit, and now gently find your body back on earth, however far away you may be, and feel that your body is calling you back. We connected with the earth plane, with Mother Earth. Allow her to bring you back as well. See yourself drifting towards your body, towards the planet, gently, as if you were a feather, entering through your body in either the crown chakra or the third eye, entering through a star-shaped entry as well, in the shape of that obelisk if you need it to be. Coming back into your body and locking into your physical form. This new star-like energy is going to give your DNA an upgrade, give your thoughts an upgrade, allow your body to feel brighter, lighter, and healthier than it was before we did this meditation. Take your two hands, rub them together. Feel the heat, the warmth, and the light that we created. Move them in a circle around your body. If you can't move them all the way around, just take your left hand on top of your heart, your right hand on top of that, and feel your heart shining bright. And allow for your energy and your power to be a part of your present, your past, and your future, and heal anything that needs to be healed. Gently open your eyes now and come back into your body. On the next exhale, open your eyes if you haven't already. And welcome back, everybody. Beautiful meditation for your sign this month. Beautiful messages as well. This is really about reclaiming balance. Not feeling like you have to compete with anybody, finding that inner child and flying free into the dreams, into the vision of yourself that you earned, that you always had. That's your divine right to be there, okay? So great to be with you today. Like I said, whether you're watching this on Valentine's Day or after, I hope you can feel the love and the light. And I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be a part of this journey. I see that some of you were kind enough to give some super chats. I just want to say thanks. If you want to do that while we're talking here, this is how you can do it. That allows me to continue, again, to buy these cards, so I appreciate that. I'd love for you to stay connected with me across social media. If you haven't already joined me on Facebook or on Patreon, if you want to also give a continual sort of donation, you can do that there. My username is the same on Facebook, Patreon, and YouTube. It's Nicholas Ashbaugh. All the information that you possibly could need would be on my website, including how to get that chime that I was using. All of that's there. It's nicholasashbaugh.com. please join me on Instagram. In addition to posting reminders, I put some cute pictures of my dog there, and I know you all love Apollo. He's in the background partaking in the meditation as well. So feel free to join me there. It's Nicholas_Ashbaugh. And I can see Ryan and Maria have posted these links as well. So thank you guys. If you're more old school, you can also give a little bit of love here on PayPal. It's just my name on that as well. But you can use the links on my website to make sure that you're getting the right address. And I also forgot to mention Twitter. It's N_Ashbaugh. I'm sorry, at @Ashbaugh. So thank you so much to everybody for showing up today. If you enjoyed this, like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing costs nothing. It helps the channel a lot. And most importantly, sharing. I'd love for somebody else to receive this healing meditation. So if you liked it, share it with them. And thank you for supporting me and supporting yourselves and doing the work on yourselves. Imagining that each of us is kind of like these beautiful obelisks lighting up. I mentioned back last year, I used to say we could all be lighthouses. I hope we're being able to do that, connect all of these sort of points of light on the planet, create this beautiful sphere of energy that we need in this time where there's a lot of uncertainty. Be certain of yourself, be certain of your dreams, and good luck getting there, okay? Much love and light from me to you. Take care of yourselves now and always. I'll see you again next month. I'll also be around for those of you that might have Scorpio in your sun, rising, or moon at 11:30 today. All right, take care. Bye-bye.